Hey guys, what's up? This is Eddie. Coming back once again, this time to discuss buyer specific forms. So we've discussed the general forms that you'll be asked to sign when you go into a real estate agreement with an agent. But now we want to hone in on those buyer specific documents. 1 second, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, so the first document that you'll be asked to sign, or one of the documents, I shouldn't say the first, because you're probably going to get those agency disclosures first. But this is called an exclusive right to buy buyer agency contract. So as you work with me, this is an agreement that we will go into. So we'll put the names of yourself, my real estate brokerage, we'll put the purpose of the agency where we'll give Jennifer general information about the type of home or property that you're looking for. We'll identify the broker's duties. We've kind of discussed the 6 basic legal duties that I owe you, but it goes into a little more detail here. We'll also have what's called buyer's duties. So we haven't discussed these before. We've kind of been concentrating more so on my duties to you, but there will be some duties that you owe me. And basically it's to be open, honest, upfront, to communicate, to participate, pretty much to not stifle or work against, what we're trying to achieve. Let's see, is there anything else? But that's it. I mean, typically this section isn't an issue. I mean, most buyers are going to be, very upfront, very motivated. So I've never had an issue with the buyer not fulfilling their duties and responsibilities here. All right, you'll be asked to initial the bottom of that page. So compensation of broker. So as you guys heard me say multiple times, as a buyer, you need to always work with your own real estate professional. And one of the benefits is that the compensation of your real estate professional is already taken care of in the listing agreement. So the seller's agent will actually pay my commission. So you don't have to come out of your pocket. So you need to always have your real estate professional. And what you'll see is under number 5, I'll have you initial, I'll check this box here for brokerage fee, but you'll initial option 2. And it just says that the broker shall obtain payment of the brokerage fee out of the transaction. Broker shall be paid by the cooperating broker as stated in the multiple listing service. So in that last sentence, buyers should not be responsible for paying the fee. All right, so that's what you want to see. We won't initial any of this other stuff. We'll have a term of agency. Typically, my agency agreements are going to last through the end of the year. Now, if it's the latter portion of the year, it'll go into next year. Now, one thing to note, I don't want anyone working with me that doesn't want to work with me. So if at any point any of my clients come up and say, you know what, Eddie, we tried it, it's not really working out for me. I'd like to get out of this agreement. That's no issue. We can cancel this at any point, but we will go into this agreement just pretty much agreeing to work together. All right. Section 7 is going to have those items concerning agency that I kind of discussed earlier. So here is where you'll once again confirm that I discussed agency relationships with you. That's hit. You'll notice that that's hit a lot because you need to understand the responsibilities, that I have towards you. But also I will ask you to initial this line that says that you will give me permission to act as a dual agency. Well, it may be considered at the time once I provide you more information. So it's up to you. You don't have to, go into a dual agency agreement, but you give me permission to discuss that with you. Same thing here for designated agency. So you give me permission to discuss it with you. And if you decide to move forward, then we'll move forward. Then I'll ask you to initial at the bottom. Section 8 just lets you know that I'm going to be working with more than one buyer at a time. 9 is indemnification of broker. So one of the agreements that we'll go into, you guys remember the United Real Estate Agreement, which says that, we agree to work together. So this section 9 is talking about if you are working with another agent and you don't disclose that, You don't tell me you're working with someone else, you're seeing homes with someone else, and then you're working with me at the same time. This is saying that you can be held liable for that, for not disclosing that information. If there's any kind of dispute that arises between the two agents or the two agencies, you could be held liable for not, being honest. All right, number 10 is talking about disclosure of buyer's identity. So in the state of South Carolina, as a buyer, if you go into an agreement to purchase a home, your identity is going to be revealed. So that kind of goes without saying. Broker limited liability. I'm sorry, broker liability limitation. So if for any reason, you know, something happens to where you want to sue the brokerage firm, right? The liability is limited to the commission, to the commission from the transaction. So you need to know that. Let's see. That's the gist of this right here. So it's just letting you know that there is limited liability. Number 12 is talking about non-discrimination policy. I can't discriminate. You can't tell me that I just can't discriminate. We'll leave it at that. All right. 13 is professional counsel. So you acknowledge that I'm being retained solely as a real estate agent. And so we'll be working with other professionals, but I will only give you real estate advice. If something else outside of my lane comes up, I may direct you to someone else, but you're only retaining me for real estate advice. All right. Mediation clause. If there's any kind of dispute that arises out of our agreement, then both parties agree to go to mediation first. The mediator doesn't make any decisions. It just seeks to bring both parties to a point of agreement. All right, sex offender criminal information. The buyer agrees that we are not responsible. I will not be providing you any information about who's on the sexual or sex offender registry, but I will refer you to the local police department. They can direct you where to go there. Once we go into this agreement, it is an entire binding agreement. But like I said, if there's an issue to where you don't want to move forward working with me, that's cool. We can cease the agreement at any time. All right, you'll initial the bottom, excuse me. And then on this last page, it details that it's 2021. Okay, we conduct business via electronic means these days. You may get an email for electronic signatures. You may fax some stuff. So that's how we do business these days. Also 19 surveillance. So these days, any home that you walk in pretty much has a video camera. So this is just advising you that properties you may enter may have both audio and video surveillance. So you just need to be aware of that. All right. Once again, this is a binding agreement. I'll ask you to sign. My broker will sign as well. And this will be the EBA. We call it the EBA. All right. It's the exclusive agreement, buyer's agreement. All right. The next document that you'll see is going to be the inspection disclaimer. So basically, you have the right to have any type of inspection that you want to have. Non-intrusive, of course, you can't go knocking down stuff to inspect, but you have the right to have any type of inspection that you want. Typically, this is going to happen during the due diligence period. So that's a section of the offer where you typically have 10 business days to have any type of inspection that you want. All right. Now, this is a list of the most popular inspections, but I mean, you can pretty much have anything that you want. So they're kind of listed here, and you can just initial by the ones that you want to have. Most people are going to have that home inspection, third-party individual licensed by the state to come in and look at the home with a fine-tooth comb. And they'll provide you a report of all of their findings. Whatever they find, you have the right in most contracts, unless you say you don't want that right, you're going to have the right to use that inspection report and ask the seller to make repairs. All right. So most people are going to have the home inspection. Most people are going to have the termite inspection at CO 100. Most people are going to have the HVAC letter or the HVAC inspection to check out the HVAC system. Now, you can have anything. And then we have some people that sometimes they'll have the home inspection. And if it kind of draws a red flag, then they'll decide what else they want to do. So I always recommend that you have inspections. You're going to spend $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 on a home. You need to have it inspected to make sure that you know what you get, okay? So you'll sign off on this document as well. If you decide that I don't want to have any inspections, that will be against my advice. So I'll probably have you sign a disclaimer saying that, listen, against the counsel of my agent, I've decided that I will not have any inspections. Now, the lenders don't typically make you have inspections. Now, if you're doing some kind of down payment assistance programs, sometimes they will make you have inspections. If you're a veteran, they will make you have the CO 100 inspection, but typically FHA, conventional, USDA, they don't mandate that you have an inspection. All right, and the final document that we'll discuss is the repair addendum. So once you have the inspections, like I stated, you can ask the seller to make repairs. The seller does not have to make the repairs, but you can request it. And as you know, if you listen to the buyer consultation or buyer orientation video, if there's anything that you request on the basis of those inspection reports and the seller says, I'm not going to do that, then you could say, well, I don't want to move forward. Now, there's certain time frames where this has to happen. And that's the purpose of your agent, to make sure that you're within those time frames. But this is what that addendum would look like. So we'll identify the seller, your name, the property address, the tax map number, contract acceptance date, tells when the repairs need to be made. And typically in this box, you see a blank box, but this is where we will identify what we are requesting. And we'll kind of reference the inspection report as well. We'll provide the inspection report. The reports typically have pictures just so that they know exactly what we want. All right. And they'll typically respond back and let you know what they're going to repair and what they're not going to repair. So typically the buyer and the seller will come to some sort of agreement. There are cases where the seller will say, listen, I'm just going to do everything because I don't want to go back and forth. There are some situations to where the seller says, listen, I'm not doing anything. You can move forward or not. So it just kind of depends. So I will advise you, give you advice on what I think you should do. But at the end of the day, remember, I work for you. All right. So I'll give you advice, but you'll make the final decision. All right. So those are our buyer specific forms. So I just wanted to give you some more details about that because you will be asked to sign them at some point. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.